Did you know that wombats can crush predator skulls with their butts? Do you think if you were a piece of dust, you would rather be vacuumed up or swept up? I know what happened last time, but I am gonna watch another crime documentary before bed tonight. Now, if we were a banana, do you think you would be the peel and I would be the inside? Or vice versa? No, actually, I think it makes more sense the other way around. I would be the peel and you would be the inside.
So what is it really like living alone? Can I help? Okay. I am now about a month and a half into living by myself, and I would like to share some of my observations. We're going to talk about the good, the weird, the unpleasant, the surprising. I'm going to answer your questions, including the #1 question I got about living alone, which I was pretty surprised about, I'm not going to lie. I'm also going to compare this version of living alone to the last time I lived alone 6 years ago, because they are very different. And by the end, hopefully you will feel better about potentially living alone, whether it's because you are coming out of a breakup, or because you're just moving out of your parents' house, or because you're beginning a long-distance relationship, or the dozens of other reasons you may find yourself embarking on a solo living journey. Goose, is there anything you want to add? All right, we're gonna go ahead and get started.
So there is an adjustment period, like with any change. The first couple weeks felt really weird. It's kind of like when you go back for a new school year, you're in a space that's familiar, but everything feels different. And I wasn't really like, okay, David's gone, now what's my new routine gonna be? I just did whatever felt natural to me. So I wouldn't think too hard about it. Just wake up, notice when you're waking up, notice when you're eating breakfast, what you're eating for breakfast, when you're starting work, when you're getting bored throughout the day, when you're going to sleep, how much you're scrolling, all that jazz, and then figure out what needs adjusting, if anything. I think the main thing that I've noticed living alone is that I stay up way later, which I knew was gonna happen, because there's nobody around to switch off my metaphorical switch. So I will just keep working, I will keep reorganizing random things, I will keep researching irrelevant topics. Shit. I just spilled my Spindrift. Oh no, that's my favorite flavor too. Okay. Oh no, it's on my jewelry. Okay. Oh, do I drink it up? That works. It's fine, because the lady who sold me these earrings said that they could get wet. And I assume that encompasses sparkling flavored water. Okay. All is well. What was I saying? I don't know. Wouldn't it be funny if that was just like an ad for Spindrift? It's not. I just fucking threw a sweater at my drink and it fell over, but it would make a good ad. Okay, I stay up late. I stay up too freaking late without my boyfriend here. And it's something I have to relearn how to do on my own. I'm a fully grown adult. I am capable of relearning things. I try to remind myself, Morgan, you will be a healthier, longer living person if you get a full 8 hours of sleep. I know your brain is like, fuck that, let's rage all night. And by rage, I mean, look at videos of baby otters. It's just, you gotta dig down deep into your willpower to readjust the routine. It'll take time, that's okay. And you don't even have to change your routine if you want to. I could just keep staying up really late and getting up early and destroying my sleep schedule. I could keep doing that because I'm the only one living here. But also, if your routine is not the way you want it or the way you like it, you will adapt. Now, I thought adapting to managing all the household chores was gonna be a really annoying thing, but it has actually not turned out to be as annoying as I thought. Also, I would just like to say, one of you asked if I noticed how much cleaner it is now that there's not a man living here. And to that I say, ha 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 ha. It's hilarious that you think David is the problem with the mess in our home. It is me. I'm the problem. He is much more cleanly than I. So to be honest, the mess has more or less been the same. Slightly better because his clothes aren't lying in the bathroom and like there's less pee on the ground around the toilet, but those were really his like 2 biggest offenses. But otherwise it hasn't been that difficult to take it on myself, because most of the regular chores that we do, they pile up slower now that it's just me in the house. Like the dishwasher gets run less often because it's just me using a plate. The trash fills up slower because it's just me throwing shit away. The recycling fills up much slower because it's just me friggin' Kobe and cans into that thing. RIP. Also, even though I do all the chores, I get to do them the way that I want. So like putting away the dishes. I get to put the dishes away exactly where I want them. Sometimes David would be putting the dishes in some weird places. And then when I would go to make something, I would have to look for the thing. It would become a treasure hunt, which I really enjoy a treasure hunt, but just not in the scenario where I'm trying to cook dinner on a Sunday night. But like genuinely, he would put our really unaesthetic mugs on our mug wall. He would put things that didn't even belong on the mug wall on the mug wall. And it's just like, dude, this is more than storage. This is art. I think if you're having a hard time keeping up with chores while living alone, then it means you probably don't really enjoy the act of cleaning, which is fair, but you're gonna have to figure out a way to like it. Like you're gonna have to make it an event. You're gonna have to give yourself a little reward. You're gonna have to find like a really good podcast to listen to while you clean. You know, actually the one chore that has become a little bit of a burden, and actually I don't even wanna call it a burden or a chore because I love Goosey, but I do now have to take Goose out every morning and every evening, which is technically good for me, but I no longer have somebody that I can ask to take him out when I'm super busy or I like need to get something else done. It used to be like, hey, David, I want to get a workout in this morning. Can you take Goose out? And he'd be like, yeah, you know, or like vice versa. Now that is solely my responsibility. And there are certainly worse responsibilities to have, but it is an adjustment. But now the thing that many of you seem to be struggling with, more so than chores or routines, is cooking. I'm not gonna lie, I didn't see that coming because I have no problem cooking for one. And so I need to ask, is the reason you're struggling to cook for one, is it because you won't eat leftovers? Are you one of those people who are like, I won't do it. I won't eat the same thing 2 days in a row, 3 days in a row? That's ridiculous. Be honest, is that you? If so, here's what I have to say. You're gonna have to sacrifice something. For me, I cook one meal at the beginning of the week. I eat that for dinner all week. It doesn't go bad. I'm not throwing out ingredients. It's healthy, it's cost effective. However, I am sacrificing variety. Other options for cooking for one. You can do a meal kit. That way you get a different meal every night. It's relatively convenient, but it's probably not as cost effective. And depending on which one you use, it may or may not be healthy. Another option, you cook a different meal every night. You get your variety. Depending on what you make, you get your healthiness. It probably won't be as cost effective. It'll probably be kind of wasteful, and it will certainly not be convenient. You could also order out. That's definitely not gonna be cost effective, probably not gonna be all that healthy, but it will be convenient and there could be some variety. So it's just like, there's not gonna be one perfect answer. You're gonna have to make some sort of sacrifice when it comes to cooking for yourself. Again, I personally like the meal prep approach. If you really need the variety, I think the solution is to make freezer meals, but then you kind of have to commit to like a whole day of cooking, you know what I mean? Or like 2 days of cooking. But then you won't have to cook for a while. I've done this. I've made a few freezer meals, things that I can easily just thaw or heat up on a whim. That does give me a little variety. So basically I have my meal that I made at the beginning of the week that I'm planning to eat all week. I have that. And then I have 2 other freezer options right now. I have black bean burgers, and then I think I still have a soup of sorts. So like if I really don't want whatever I cooked that week one night, I can have one of those. I can also have those for lunch, which is nice. I will link some of my favorite meals that last me all week and or that are good for freezing if you need a little bit of inspo. But that's my main piece of advice, is you gotta get into the meal prepping, because I actually find it easier to cook for just one person because I don't have to worry about making something that David likes, and I also don't have to worry about my food running out before the end of the week, because that used to be the other problem. We'd make one meal, but then David's a boy, so it's just like the Mary Poppins-esque situation happening with the food into his belly. I don't know where it goes, but there's so much of it in there. All right, let's now discuss the double whammy that is living alone and working from home. It's a lot of alone time, even for the most introverted introvert. And the first time that I lived alone, I was in my early 20s, I was working from an office, and so I rarely experienced profound loneliness during that time, because when I would get home from work, I would be happy that no one was there. I was also at a very different point in my life. I was single, I just moved to the city, I had more energy because again, early 20s. I was pretending to like running. That's how you know I was really going through it. I also got bangs. self-explanatory. So I was going out regularly on Bumble BFF dates, on regular dates. I was going to work happy hours. I was saying yes to a lot of things, because if I didn't, I would have no friends and I would die alone. So essentially there were very few times where I really wanted to be around people and I could not be. This time around, that's different. Living alone and working from home, it's much easier to go stir crazy. You spend a lot of time talking to yourself, and there is a limit. You do reach a limit of talking to yourself. You should be aware of when that limit is. I don't understand how they know what color dinosaurs were. Where did I put my water bottle? The wasps are never gonna see it coming. Winston and Ferguson about to eat some pasta. Where is my water bottle? Leedle. I just wanna go to sleep. Where the heck is my freaking water bottle? 1, 2, 3. I wish we had room for a trampoline. Where is my water bottle? Maybe I'll just repaint the entire bathroom. Have my cuticles always looked like this? Where the heck is my water bottle? And I think the hardest thing is motivation. Because I have a partner now, I have friends, my life is busier, things are just fundamentally different. I'm not motivated to go out and about. And unfortunately, when you live alone and work from home, it is essential to find that motivation somewhere. So how do I do it? Well, one, like I said, I take Goose out in the morning and in the evening. That kind of acts as my commute, and it does help me decompress and kind of, what's the word? Isolate, segment, compartmentalize. It helps me compartmentalize work from life. So that's the first thing. Give yourself a commute, go for a walk, go get a coffee. I don't care if you spend $5 on a coffee every morning, if it means you're getting out and you're walking and you're making yourself feel better. Another thing is I don't just work in my office all day. I feel like some people say you should bifurcate your work. That's another word, kind of like compartmentalize. Bifurcate your work area and your living area. In fact, I've probably given that advice before, but what I like is, so I have my office and then sometimes I work from the couch in our living room, and it just refreshes my brain a little bit. So like the couch is really good for my creative work. If I have to write something, I'll usually sit on the couch and be very cozy. If I need to do something more complicated, if I really need to lock in, then I'll work in my office. Just switching up the atmosphere a little bit will make you feel slightly less hermity. And then the third element of it all is finding something to do outside the home. It's so essential. I know you don't want to do it. I don't want to do it. But once you do it, you'll be like, I feel better now. Because as it turns out, socializing is good for us. So I do make a point of trying to see a friend or family member at least once a week. You could also volunteer somewhere. You could do a weekly league. Weekly trivia is a good thing to do with your friends. And just like make it an open invite so anybody can invite any of their friends anytime, because then that's a nice way to meet new people without really putting in much effort. All right, if you have the luxury of working from home, then you do still need to make yourself uncomfortable by going out. You could be going to work in an office every single day. And I know some of you like that. No offense if that's your thing. I'm so happy for you. But if you don't like working in an office and you get to not work in an office, think about how wonderful that is and how lucky you are, and then channel some energy into getting out of the house once a week. It's better than getting up at 6 o'clock in the morning and sitting in traffic or on a really crowded bus to go sit in a white cube or a gray cube, some sort of neutral colored cube. The least you can do is get yourself a weekly hobby. Scary noises. What do I do when I hear them, specifically at night? I'm gonna let you in on a little secret. I don't hear them. I put on a white noise every night and our loud ass air conditioner. It's honestly to the point where if it's quiet, I can't sleep. Like if you put me in a silent room, I would just be like the most awake I've ever been in my life. So start getting used to drowning out those noises. But then I know that begs the question, well, what if I don't hear something important, something dangerous, someone entering my home, a fire? So first of all, if you're not hearing a fire, a smoke alarm, then that's a problem because that should be cutting through the white noise. So we need to go see a sleep doctor or an ear doctor or both. As far as an intruder goes, security system. You're gonna have to get one. It's gonna have to be loud as fuck. Google loud as fuck security system. If you do not want to pay for a security system, I get it. You're gonna have to get scrappy. Watch Home Alone or something. I have this little door stop alarm thing. You put it under your door, it stops the door if someone tries to open it. although you should also have locks on your door. But then it also, when this goes down, it makes an offensively loud noise, so that'll either scare away your intruder or it will alert you through the white noise to wake up and stab them. So very good, very cheap solution. Maybe perhaps also take a self-defense class. I took a self-defense class once in 5th grade in Girl Scouts, and I remember very vividly one of the techniques they taught me, and I'm not sure if I remember it because it was so absurd or if because I was selected to demonstrate in front of the whole class. I remember the instructor saying, "Stand with your feet on the ground." Check. Imagine that you are a tree. What? Imagine that you have roots growing from your feet down into the ground. Huh? Imagine that you are a large oak tree that cannot be moved. Ma'am, I'm a 75-pound, 9-year-old girl. I could be a redwood, and if a man wanted to pick me up and steal me, he would be picking me up and stealing me. Like, we were literally supposed to tree meditate ourselves into being impossible to pick up. And then one of the moms helping with the class that had to try to pick me up, and guess what? She picked me up because I'm a 75-pound, 9-year-old girl. It was like a little bit harder than before the tree meditation. I just think we would have been better off learning how to like kick him in the balls or something. Also, like, what kind of kidnapper is gonna be like, no, it's fine, I will wait for you to do your tree meditation before I try to take you. So whatever, take a self-defense class, just not one with that woman that taught me. I don't know who she is. It was a very long time ago. If she's still in the game, I'd be surprised. And then weapons, have them around your home. It's very simple. Just keep a knife in every room in your house. Kitchen knife, bathroom knife, bedroom knife, office knife. No matter where you are in your home, a knife should be within 15 feet of you, perhaps. It may be a little bit more. I'm not really even sure how long 15 feet is. Some of you probably have bigger homes too and stuff, you know, but just like know where your knives are. I suppose on that topic though, I do think living in an apartment building makes me feel much safer. My points of entry are extremely limited. You know, like unless somebody scales the side of the building or they're like a Marvel superhero, then no one's coming in through my window. And if they are a Marvel superhero, then like stick around, let's chat. When I was younger, I lived in a walk-up building alone, and in hindsight, that was stupid and I'd probably never do it again. Also now, because my life is on the internet, that's kind of an added layer of just wanting a few more obstacles between like me and the outside. I'm not gonna lie, living alone in a standalone house, honestly, living with someone in a standalone house kind of terrifies me. Way too many points of entry. If you're getting murdered, will your neighbors hear you scream? Because my neighbors will hear me scream here. I also just feel like houses, more likely to have ghosts. I just don't imagine apartment ghosts as a thing. They could be a thing. If they are a thing, I believe that they're a thing. You don't need to prove to me that you're a thing. I associate ghosts with houses. You know what does probably scare me the most here? Well, not the most, because it's actually the least probable place that I would find an intruder, but I'm very scared of my shower. Like if somebody were to be lurking in here, it would definitely be behind the shower curtain. Clear. So, you know, you just always have to check behind those. Or just have a clear curtain. That is an option. Also, don't have one of those mirror medicine cabinet things that opens like this. Those are horrifying. At that point, you're just asking for a ghost or a demon to be in your bathroom. So I would just avoid those. What do you do when you feel lonely? I try to do something that makes me feel not lonely. So if I sense that feeling creeping in, first things first will probably be to text a friend. I'll try to make some sort of plan, whether that's a plan like in the near future or in the farther future, but just knowing I have a plan coming automatically makes me feel less lonely, like I know there's gonna be an end to the loneliness. If no one's free or you can't make a plan for some reason, go take a walk, get yourself outside, send a voice memo to someone, tell a story, tell them about your day, just say, hey, I'm feeling lonely, I need to talk to another human being, so I'm just gonna tell you some mundane shit right now. Just do that. Like, I love hearing about my friend's mundane shit. Or do something that you just don't normally have time to do. Like journal. Continue painting that painting that I know you started and didn't finish. Go browse the library. Watch a movie. Force yourself to start doing something. Like, you're not gonna want to, probably, if you're feeling really lonely, but you have to. You have to get up and start doing something because you will start to feel better. You'll get into a flow state situation. And then before you know it, the feeling will have passed, which is the other thing to remember. The feeling feeling always passes. You will not feel lonely forever. 100% of the times that I have felt lonely, the feeling has passed. You just gotta write it out. If you can't write it out, if it's not going away, let's talk about therapy, okay? But loneliness does not last forever. It is a natural human emotion. There is nothing wrong with you if you are feeling lonely. It is something that is bound to happen while you're living alone, and you just need to get used to feeling it and get used to writing it out.
Oh, you know what? I made a new friend today.
And he was like, oh, what? You fish? And I was like, yeah, dude, I fish.
We'll be fish friends.
Fishing buddies is the term.
Why? Fish friends sounds so much better.
There's already a term for it. It's called a fishing buddy.
Friend and buddy is...
But you don't say fishing buddy. You say fishing buddy. One of my fishing buddies.
Well, I'm not calling you a fish friend. Listen, maintaining connection when you live alone, it's hard. In my particular situation, being in a long distance relationship, David and I FaceTime every single day, usually in the evening. We talk about how our day went, we gossip, we talk about TV shows. Sometimes we don't have anything to talk about, and like, that's cool too. You know, trying to maintain connection over a video call is very different than maintaining that connection in person. Because like in person, you can kind of just sit in silence with each other and you still feel connected. But on like a video call, I mean, you can sit in silence on a video call if you want, but it is just a little weirder. And if you're trying to find more things to talk about, then like share recommendations with each other, watch movies, listen to podcasts, recommend those to your significant other or your friend, like anybody you're trying to keep in touch with. In my case, I feel like David and I have bonded a lot more over music, which is not something we've really ever bonded over because we have very different tastes in music. But I've got him listening to Noah Kahn, told him to watch Noah Kahn's documentary because I was like, I think you're gonna find it relatable. He talks about things that a lot of men don't talk about. And guess who was right? He did. He really enjoyed it. And he likes his music. So it's just like, that's one good way to stay connected. I don't know where to put this. I'm currently working on organizing my closet into David's closet now that I have both closets. I'm not really sure where I want to put these sweatshirts though. I could put them over here. We also text each other a little bit throughout the day, not constantly, but like if something reminds me of him or there's just something absurd I want to tell him in the moment, I'll text him and like same him to me, which is just like, it's fun to see his name pop up on my texts because when he was living here, we didn't text each other at all, except for like logistical things. We don't really do like virtual dates, probably because we still live close enough that we can see each other like one weekend out of the month or two. So we just save our dates for then, and the dates then, like, they're more exciting. You know, when he comes back here, like, it's an event. It's not we're just like hanging out in the house like normal. I feel like video games are a good way to stay connected because David will be playing video games with his friends for like hours. I love David, but I don't love him enough to get really into video games to keep in touch with him. Like, I do see how that could be a good option. Hot take, but is long distance sometimes better? I wouldn't say it's better, it's just different. Because like in-person dates are more exciting now, as I mentioned. And obviously it kind of gives you a chance to miss that person. So the anticipation of reuniting is kind of a fun feeling. I don't necessarily think it's better than living with David, but as a temporary situation, there are enjoyable parts of it. I think if we were living significantly farther apart, where we were like a plane ride away or something, it would be less enjoyable for sure. But you know, this is a good time for me to rediscover aspects of myself that I may have kind of forgotten about by living with David. It's an opportunity for growth. It's a chance to do things the way that I want to do them, but I certainly don't want it to last forever. Some of you were curious about how long we're staying in this situation. For at least the next year, because I just re-signed our lease. So after this lease is up, we will reevaluate what we want to do. I'm not trying to think too hard about that because I have no idea what life is going to look like in a year. I certainly had no idea that life would look like this at this time last year. So I'm just trying not to bog myself down with thinking about that. I'm just kind of going with the flow, which is a new thing for me. What is my favorite part of living alone? Probably just not having to worry about somebody else's schedule. Like, I can take Goose out when I want, I can eat dinner when I want, I can watch TV when I want, in the room that I want to watch it in. There were a lot of times where I wanted to watch TV in here, but I couldn't because David was playing video games and or because there was a giant pile of his laundry on the bed. And honestly, the way I spend my time now, it's not fundamentally that different from when David lived here. Like, I work all day, I take Goose out in the evening, I chat with David in the evening, which are all things I would pretty much do when he lived here too. Then I'll usually shower, tidy up, do some laundry, and then attempt to sit down to watch a TV show or read a book. I usually end up working, like I said before, or going down a rabbit hole that I need not be going down. But during the week, I really don't struggle much with being bored. The weekends are kind of a different story. So far, I've done something with friends or family every weekend that David hasn't been here. I guess I will add, I have a lot of other like new things going on in my life right now that I have to be doing a bunch of stuff for. So that's kind of been a good distraction. So not that I would recommend overwhelming yourself all at once, but when you start living alone, if you could perhaps have something new that you're trying to work on or figure out, that might actually be good because it'll kind of distract you from the fact that you're alone, and it'll give you something that you can focus on and channel your energy into when you are alone. Otherwise, there will probably be some times when you're bored, and that is okay. It's okay to be bored sometimes. Just let your mind wander. Great things happen when your mind wanders. Sometimes. Actually, I'm pretty sure people have come up with really dumb ideas when they let their mind wander. But as long as you can identify what is a good idea and what is a bad idea, then it's good to let your mind wander. How do you refine... My slipper just fell off. How do you refine joy in the solo things you used to do together? I feel like you kind of have to find a way to make those things your own. So like the first thing that comes to mind for me is grocery shopping. David and I would always go grocery shopping together because that's a normal thing that couples do. And so now I have to go grocery shopping alone because Goose can't go in the grocery store, which is fair. But so like, because it can be something that makes me feel kind of sad, I just found a way to make it a little more exciting for myself. I made it kind of a ritual. I go on the same day every week, and that morning I wake up, I do a workout, high off my workout endorphins. I go grocery shopping. I put in a podcast. I listen to said podcast while I'm inspecting the apples for bruises. It makes the whole thing a lot more enjoyable, a lot less sad. Also, if I want to spend 20 minutes looking at different flavors of ice cream, I can. There's no rush because it's just me. Okay, so those things you have to do alone now, you just have to find a way to do them that brings you joy. And you know what I actually think is the hardest thing to do without David is going out with our friends, hanging out with our friends. Because it's like, I'm having a good time, I'm laughing, I'm making memories with our friends, and I'm like, I wish that he was there experiencing that with me. And I don't really know a perfect solution to that, or if there is one, but I tried to just focus on being in the moment, enjoying my time with my friends, looking forward to recapping the day or the evening to David later. And again, not having him there, it's a chance to miss him, and it does make me appreciate him a lot more when he's around. Okay, I need to put my slipper back on because it's gonna annoy me to look at this when I'm editing and I'm not wearing one slipper. Okay, last question. My least favorite part of living alone. I think it's just not having somebody around to hug when I need a hug. Like, I can give Goose a hug, and Goose gives great hugs, but it's not the same as a David hug. And there's some days where it's just like, I get to the end of the day, and I just want to vent, and I just want to relax around David. Like, there's just a certain feeling that I get when I'm around David that just calms me down immediately. It's probably called like being in love or something, but it's harder to get that feeling, just through FaceTime. But it's also given me a chance to prove to myself that I'm capable of calming myself down and regulating my emotions without David. Like, even though he's so good at doing that for me, I can do it on my own. Goosey, what are you sniffing for? You wanna come up, sir? I know, we're gonna go out soon. When I first met David, I was honestly really bad at... Goose, why don't you come sit here? The people would love to see you. There we go. Okay, can you sit? Thank you. Can you lay down? No. Okay, sitting is fine. What was I saying? When I met David, I was not very good at regulating my own emotions. I would have a lot of meltdowns, and I was very surprised that after seeing me have a meltdown, one, that he still liked me, but two, that he was actually capable of calming me down. Because I'm not sure if I had ever met anyone who could calm me down like that. Now I'm medicated and I'm at a much more stable point in my life, so the meltdowns are quite rare at this point. But it's been a while since I've had to really just rely on me. Goose, are you licking your pee-pee right now? It's not like the most polite thing to do on camera, buddy. Okay, thank you. So it's been a while since I've had to rely on just myself, and I think being forced to practice that again has been good for me, partly just for self-esteem, to feel like I can do these things on my own, I can calm myself down, but I think it also prepares me to take on any new opportunities that might come my way. Hello? Hey, yeah, now's a great time. Oh, awesome. Thank you. Oh my gosh, I'm so excited to get started. All right, well, I guess I will see you next week at 9 a.m. All right, awesome. Bye.